Hey YouTube, I'm bringing you these battles earlier than expected. So I used Sneasel 187 here in the Great League because I've got this bunch of rewards from GBL. You cannot evolve it to Sneasler because you need it below that level that you get for GBL. So you would need to like re-roll a baby account to get it. So I do not have that. So Sneasel in these battles is what I'm going to go over. But they just announced in this upcoming event starting Friday that this Pokemon will be available in the wild. So that means that you will likely be able to get Sneasler for the Great League. So I'm going to show you the baby version battles that I did earlier this week here, just to look at the baby version, and then you can evolve it to the Sneasler for Great League. So the baby version has a 20-22 record. It wasn't bad. You're Poison and Fighter, which is a unique combination here. Poison, Jab, Close Combat, X Scissor. So very close to, I'm going to just open this right now too. Sneasler is a same thing, Poison Fighting, but Shadow Claw, X Scissor, Close Combat, right? And if you look at the stat products, so 1530 is still terrible. So the Sneasel baby version actually has a higher stat product, which is not surprising because it's going to get to a way higher level than the evolved form, but your attack way more attack heavy here, but man, your defense and stamina is down a lot, and you have a 21-22 record. So basically the baby version with the poison jabs, obviously you're gonna have problems with the ground type Pokemon, steel type Pokemon, ground, steel, and ghost, right? Poison just gets resisted by a lot of things here, but you have the close combat, which is going to nuke the majority of the stuff here, and poison jab in neutral situations is great. The evolved form, Shadow Claw instead of Poison. So Shadow Claw is a great move. Basically, the difference is now you are going to have, you're still going to have problems with flyers, right? Because you only have a bug and a fighting move. So flyers are just going to dominate you. There's not much you can do there. You are a fighter, so charm users are going to be a problem. And then basically anything like Poison, Psychic, just stuff that you are just can't really throw anything at, that your charge move is going to be, I mean, you can throw X Scissor, but close combat as your main nuke, you won't be able to throw anything there. And then normal typing, darks, all the stuff that resists Shadow Claw. So why it is an interesting Pokemon and one that you want to evolve, look at some of these meta wins here. Metacham, always great when you have Metacham. A9 Tails with Powder Snow, Defense Deoxys, Umbreon, Trevenant, Obstagoon, Drapion, Frostlass, a Sandslash, Walrein, Scrafty, everything that's weak to counter here. Stunfisk. Look at these Registeel. 854. 854. Basically, you just go straight. You're baiting there. I bet you don't even need to bait. Let's just go straight close combat because I'm sure that you will win close combat. Yep. You are going to far outpace with these close combats. Close combat does a ton of damage, plus these Shadow Claws do add up as well, right? So Sneasler is going to be a nice core breaker for steals with Metacham, and the Claw is going to be great against like Trevenant and stuff too. So definitely a Pokemon worth grinding for. That said, I use the baby version. So let's take a look at some of these baby battles here just to see what it looks like in action. So paired it just with the common core, Swampert and Sableye, I always play with this core. Buzzhole comes in, so I'm coming in, resisting the counters. As you can see, this thing is already glassy, and this thing is tankier than the other version, right? So when you are going to use this Pokemon, it is going to be the evolved form or baby form. You can maybe do a baby and evolved form team. That would be fun. Very glassy. Like, look at it. Like, I'm just getting outpaced, and these counters are adding up even though I'm a poison. So I'm going to be taken out here. Or I'd say it's a lunge, so I'm resisting that because I'm poison. Nope, because I'm fighter, and fighter resist bug. So I will get off a secondary lace. They decide to double shield, so they're going to take a switch, but I flip it. But I basically just got counter down, resisted counters down, right? So very, very glassy Pokemon. I think that if you are going to use this Pokemon, I don't mind the Swampert. You don't need the Swampert. Actually, I probably would suggest going against the Swampert if you're going to run the evolved version because you're weak to flyers. You can't do anything against flyers, and then having a Mudshot Swampert against flyers is not the best idea. So if you're going to use Sneasler, I would suggest something like ground, not ground, like steel, because you'll do well with the flyers, and because you're half poison here, you will resist all the moves, all the fighting moves that the steel would be weak to. So that would be my guess is what PvPoke is going to say. I'm just going to go confirm. Let's see what their suggested teammates are. I'm guessing it's going to be like, okay, so it is, Swampert is on there, but otherwise it's so walrein, right? Walrein will deal with the flyers. Then it's a lot of tanky Pokemon that are also weak to fighting. Umbreon, Lickitung, right? So it's these tanky Pokemon that are weak to fighting that will also just deal with sort of like, I guess like, well, you're double weak to Psychic, so I guess that makes sense that you want Umbreon as well. So I guess Psychic and Flyers are going to be your weaknesses here, so Umbreon is a good answer to deal with all those, I guess, double Psychic. There's not like a lot of pure Psychics you really need to worry about, but it is saying like Sneasler is going to lose to Swampert, Pelipper, Lickitung, which Umbreon is going to beat. So then you're going to lose to Altaria and Azumarill. So I'm guessing they're going to say, yeah, there's your Registeel, there's your Lantern, there's your Stunfisk, right? So that's not surprising how I would team build with that. So this is good, obviously, unless it has Psychic, which I'm hoping it does not. It just has Last Resort. But even Last Resort does 50%. So hopefully I can level 1 and get a close combat off here to take this out. And I do, barely. Close combat should one-shot. Again, this thing is so attack heavy that, yeah, goodbye. So you're not really going to have much problem against anything that takes super effective from fighting, because the close combat should just one-shot pretty much everything. It won't one-shot everything, but like when you're running Sneasler with the Shadow Claw, those are going to add up as long as it's not resisted. Those will add up, and a close combat nuke is just like, is a deadly combo. So definitely a Pokemon worth grinding for. This one, I remember this one. Fighting Psychic type with the Poison type fast move, there's none other in the game. Like Toxicroak is the closest with the Poison fighting, but that has a counter user. So they were not expecting a Poison user. I guess they thought it was probably a Toxicroak. It is not a Toxicroak. It is a Sneasler, a Sneasel, and I just farmed that down. Out comes a Dugong. So I've got a double close combat here. So this is basically a full health Dugong that I just got the poison jabs off at. So the poison jab did a little bit of damage. How much is this close combat going to do? One shot a Dugong. Oh my goodness. So yeah, this is why this Pokemon's going to be fun, right? This is why the Sneasler is going to be fun, because you will be able to one-shot so many things with close combat. So I would put it on team that, for me, because of how glassy it is, I think you do one of two things. It's saying like Umbreon for coverage, and it's saying like Glaring Stunfisk and stuff for coverage. That's fine. I also think if you're going to run something like this that you need to rely on the close combat, and it's so glassy, I think you need to pair it with Pokemon that are decently tanky, but can also grab shields, right? Because you need to basically get shields down to just one-shot these things with close combat is how you need to play it. So you need something that's decently tanky to absorb damage, but also can grab some shields. I don't mind Swampert because Swampert can grab shields, but you just like, you can't burn shield on Swampert because then your Sneasler is just going to be like a sitting duck sort of thing. This one's tough because I'm weak to ground and poison's going to resist here, but I thought with like a 2 shield advantage here, I can just like get to Aerial Ace and take this out. So there's one Mud Bomb. Hopefully I can get to the move. They try and snipe. I'm aware of that. They get to a flying move, so I got a shield. So I will shield. If they come back in with the Quag, I've got to just probably throw the Aerial Ace right away. I'm assuming that between the like Aerial Ace should take out because I'm very attack heavy and your Shadow. Yeah, that makes sense. But unfortunately, I've played this matchup enough to know that Aerial Ace is nowhere close enough to take this out. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Aerial Ace. Let's see what they do. They try and snipe. I'm aware of that. They get to a flying move, so I got a shield. So I will shield. If they come back in with the Quag, I've got to just probably throw the Aerial Ace right away. I'm assuming that between the like Aerial Ace should take out because I'm very attack heavy and your Shadow. Yeah, that makes sense. But unfortunately, I've played this matchup enough to know that Aerial Ace is nowhere close enough to take this out. maybe you'll have a better, but no, even shields down, you're in trouble because the I've got to imagine that this being fighting and fighting and poison, double weak to psychic. In the zero shields, even if you have claw, you're not gonna be able to close combat a Medicham down, right? So the claws will do good. It's running the bug. X scissor is the second move, and then close combat. So I think in the zero shield, you're probably gonna get lit up by Medicham with the psychic. So again, keep that in mind. You need those shields for this Pokemon. Should be able to grab the second shield here, which is great. Or take this out and have my alignment. Both of those are okay. It is a Sableye, so this is good. I will chip huge here, or they're probably going to shield. Yeah, I would shield 2 because that does a ton of damage. They will get off 2 moves. So I'm just going to shield 1 because I know I could take this out. But then again, I rest my back line here. But I just need to like take this out because the poison jabs are going to be resisted. I'm going to try and catch a foul play. We both try and catch. So Diggersby ground is going to cause me a lot of problems. We're going to CMP here. Diggersby's 2. I remember it does not one shot, but I think it comes pretty close. Yeah. So that's like a level probably like 48, 49 Diggersby, if not more, that I almost one shotted. So that is beyond fine with me, right? You take that any day. Obviously, you're going to lose the zero shield because poison jabs are resisted and the close combat does not one shot. So that is a problem. I think I can maybe live this. Yeah. And get to a move or just claw down. And then I think I lost the last couple games here, but we will watch them out. But yeah, so I think this is a Pokemon definitely worth grinding for. If you see it. Poison jabs are going to add up here. Icy Wind. Oh, Giovanna would one shot. So I'm going to... Oh, let's call the Icy Wind. Oh, but even so, look at how much that Icy Wind does. I will take this out and keep Switch on the Sableye. Probably just go close combat because even though it's resisted, it's still close combat and Air Lace is garbage. So take the resisted move. Sure, that's fine. At this point, I can now just claw down with Sableye. It'll just depend what's in the back here. But yeah, I am looking forward to this oil. They're doing a good job this season of giving you other options, right? Like, let's take a look at how many options are now in the top one. Well, Sneasler is going to be like 105 or 108. But you got the Quagsire, top 10 now. Shadow version, 15. Non-shadow. Double is 13. For the love of God, I need double to come back. I did not get any. I got a hundo sitting there with not enough candies or XLs and no Great League IV1. I transferred everything else. So this is just like double needs to come back soon. I think if double comes back, it's going to give people a lot of options here. But until then, double is off the board. So Quagsire is one that they gave you options for now. Sandslash now as another viable option. Dugong, obviously. Yeah, Lurantis and Abomasnow are still running their other moves. Leafage, I wanted to like Leafage. I tried Lurantis with Leafage a couple times. It just did not seem good at all, quite honestly. So that is too bad. I wish I could hunt more Aurorus. Aurorus is 45. I wish they gave us more options for Aurorus because I think Aurorus is a great Pokemon. I mean, weak to fighting, but still great rock ice option there. Wish we had more chance of that. Haxorus is now 51. I went against a few Haxorus with break-in swipes. Man, those counters chip. Those counters chip real hard. But there's like 4 Pokemon in the top 50 that they just gave us options to have now. Credelius in 73 is just sort of whatever. It's kind of was always around there, so that's not huge. And now we at least have the option. I haven't tried the Emolga at 91 yet. And then now we have the option at Sneasler at 103, which core breaks, right? So Lots of clefables down to 115, which is not surprising. I think I'm gonna build my. I think I'm gonna bump my Great League one that I'm using up to Ultra League, because it's like a top ranked Ultra League one. But yeah, so I'm liking the, again, Metacham is still an issue. Yeah, Metacham's still an issue, but I'm liking that there's a little bit of variety in this league now. I think this is probably the last one. Yeah, last one here. Kind of need to stay in. Or am I going to try and catch... No, I'd probably just stay in and just try and get some chip damage off and then come Sneasel. Really don't want my Sableye to see this if it doesn't have to. Oh, I'm going to catch. 1, don't be Psychic, but 2, even the Last Resort does like 50%. And now there can maybe hard punish. Okay, that is not how you want to punish me here. I should have close combat. Why did I not close combat? I'm only going to get 1 move off here. Yeah, go for the close combat if you're in that situation. So they got a dark and a fairy. So that is really, really, really rough for my Sableye. So this is not looking good. Got to farm down, come out with a couple moves, couple Hydros. Defense Deoxys. So, okay, Sableye has some play, but unfortunately, I'm not going to get alignment here. I think the Emerald has a ton of energy too. Plus, it's gonna take it. Yeah, this game's over. So that is Sneasel, and you will have options for Sneasler. The problem is in the thing, it was one of those. If you are lucky, you will see this thing. So my worry is, what does that mean for the person who does not grind? Luckily, I think this event is like 5 or 6 days, right? I think this event is like 5 or 6 days. I'm just trying to find the event. It starts Friday. Okay, so it's actually way more than 5 days. It's Friday, June 16th, 10 a.m. to Sunday, June 25th, 8 p.m. So that is a week and a bit. So that is great. And this is where you got all the Pokemon, which are just garbage Pokemon. Murkrow, Solrock, Drifloon, Purrleon, Sewaddle, Cottony, Fomantis, like just terrible. Some trainers might even encounter the following. Hisuian Sneasel. I don't like it when they say some trainers might even encounter, which makes me think that this thing's going to be rare. So I would suggest, catch every single one you see, get a couple friends, and re-roll low level ones with your friends. That would be my suggestion for this. But that is it. Yeah, that's it in action. That's my thoughts on the Pokemon. I think it's going to be super, super good. And I think you just need to build around, your stuff that resists the Shadow Claw plus your flyers, right? So that is it. One more video this afternoon. I had to do some shuffling around, but the video this afternoon will be the Hisuian Moltres. No, Galarian. It's a Galarian bird. Galarian Moltres. So that was kind of fun. So that's this afternoon, and then league turnover tomorrow. So I didn't do top teams. I did. I team built with the new buff Pokemon for Ultra League. So Clefable, Golisopod, Haxorus, and what was the fourth one that was buffed? A Sandslash. I gave you guys. I did like a rankings analysis, and I team built for those Ultra Leagues. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, that is it. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.